Yeah, I would just scream at people and like just very like aggressive, like love the kids though, in like a way that like in hindsight is now creepy, but at the time was like fine. But in hindsight, yeah. But no, my first job was Victorious, my first like theatrical job. And I got to be in the schoolroom with Ariana Grande before she was like anybody. And it was so cute. And then at the end of it, we're still so new. So I had asked her, I came up to her and I was like, would you want to babysit me?
Oh my gosh. Guys, welcome to Full Out with Molly Jackson.
Hello.
She's a producer of the podcast, but she also has so many Full Out stories. And I am so excited to have your own actual episode.
Yes.
Where I get to interview you.
It's like weird because I like was prepping for this as like an interview, like on the producer side. And then I was also like, okay, but I also just have to let you guide the interview, and I can't be like from the couch being like, now ask about this, now ask about this.
You can. But you have to go sit on the couch to do that.
Yeah, I'll run back and forth.
Yeah. That's so funny. I feel like, so I've known you, I think we've talked about it, but I've known you since you were 8, I think.
Yeah.
And so I've known you a really long time. You've known me a really long time.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the other day you were leaving an episode, like a recording, and you told me something I needed to do. And I was like, okay, Mom, thanks. I feel like the tables have turned. Like, we're like, you're now like, and do this and don't do this and make sure you do this.
Yeah.
And I met you as your acting coach.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so I knew your younger sister.
Mm-hmm. Bailey.
Yes. And my mom knew your mom, Trisha. And she was like, oh, my other daughter has this amazing acting class. You should come join it. And then, or did we meet Bailey from your class?
I think you maybe met her.
I feel like I met her at an audition because I feel like we heard about your class from your mom.
That's probably right because
I feel like your mom was your sales person.
Yes, to this day, she's no matter what I'm doing. Yeah. My mom's like, okay, so I was on the plane and I got you 3 more followers on Instagram.
Love it.
And I'm like,
love it.
So I feel like she's like, take out your phone right now. Look her up. That's her. Follow her.
Great.
Great. Just like, thanks, Mom.
You should hire her for the podcast. She can do that. Have
seriously.
A little QR code on her phone.
Oh my gosh. To get her, she would do really well with that. But yeah, I'm sure you found my class from my mom.
Yes. And then I started taking your class, and I was like I loved your class. And
you walked in, you were 8, and you were so cute. Like this tiny, I mean, you were so tiny. And I feel like I related because I was still playing really young on Disney when I was teaching that class.
Yeah.
And because I think it was like...
Well, your class was exciting because my sister, I have a younger sister who didn't act, but she would come and wait in the lobby. And your class was exciting because we knew you from our favorite Disney shows. And so it was like, I was like, I can learn acting like from an actual Disney actress. And so like it was very like exciting. Yeah.
It was my way of being like leaving my bar job, because I felt like I was working enough as an actor, but I just never knew when I was working again. So I needed a security blanket bar job.
Yeah.
And I just didn't like working at a bar anymore. Yeah. And did I ever tell you my story about when I quit the bar?
No.
Well, basically I was working at the bar as a security blanket before I started teaching this. Actually, I had started my acting class. So I knew I had this other thing in case. And I was doing a shift there, and they told us we had to like start stocking the beer fridge now. And so we had to go out in this shed in the back and like get all the beer. And I'd been working there for 4 years, and like we never had to do that. And you also had to break down all the boxes. And I went in the back to stock the fridge, and I couldn't reach anything. And I was trying to, because we're all so short.
Yes.
Molly
I just got her height wrong like 5 minutes before this. She got very upset.
Molly goes,
she's taller than me, guys.
Both 4'11". And I was like, we are not. I am 5'1". But anyways, I was in the back of this beer shed, and I started kicking all the boxes and going, I fucking hate this job. I fucking hate this job. And like punching all the boxes and kicking them. And then like 2 days later, I got called in for a meeting because I forgot they had cameras back there. And they were like, are you happy working here? And I was like, not really. So then I really ramped up my acting class to have like a second, just to like have something that made me feel less scared to only have acting.
Yeah, and I remember I loved your class because you were one of the few teachers that like didn't like baby talk us or teach us acting in a baby way. And I like always like, because I was always trying to finesse my way into the teenage acting classes at age 8. And my mom also was like totally had my back on this. And she's like, she takes it too seriously for the other kids. She needs to be with teenagers because she takes it that level of seriousness.
You did.
But yeah.
You walked in the first day with this binder and you had all your headshots and your sides and like everything. Like I could tell the kids whose parents like got everything together for them, and the kids like, I mean, there was very few kids who were like, I'm here doing this and I'm dragging my parent here. And you were very much like that. You were like ready to go.
Yeah. Well, it was like crazy how I started, started acting in regards to like
you start
dragging them out. I was 4 years old. I had become obsessed with The Sound of Music. That was like my first like adult movie I watched, but I like love, it's not an adult movie, but you know, like
it is
harder to follow storyline. Yeah. And so I watched Sound of Music, became obsessed with it, and then we were looking for like summer camps for me when I was 4, and there was an acting camp, but you had to be 5 to go, and so I just like let it go. We never brought it up again. My parents didn't bring it up, and then on my 5th birthday, they asked what I wanted for my birthday that day, and I was like, I want to go to the acting camp, and they were like, from this past summer, and my birthday's in November, and I was like, yeah, I want to go to the acting camp now. I'm 5, I'm old enough. And I had like crippling separation anxiety from my mom. And so they weren't really sure how this was going to work because I couldn't even go to school. Like I had to be practically homeschooled because I could not leave her. Yeah.
Do you think it's because you moved so much?
I think it's because I moved so much and my mom was my one.
You're a military kid.
Yeah, military kid. And it was just my mom and I in Germany for like the first 2.5 years of my life. And then she was just like my everything because I didn't have like a consistent babysitter, consistent grandparents. I'm the oldest. And so I had crippling separation anxiety. And so they signed me up for this acting class, drove me there. My mom walked me into the lobby and I just walked inside the camp and didn't turn around and like cry or anything. And she like, then my mom started having a panic attack. And I remember she said she went to the car and like called my dad hyperventilating. And she's like, something's wrong.
Because she actually is not having separation anxiety from me.
Yeah. And so and then right from that moment, my parents were like, oh, like we need to always keep her in an acting class. Like she loves this. And I never had separation anxiety. I did great. I was always signing up for like one after another camp wise. And then when I was 7, a manager, Donna Jean Goheen, came out to El Paso, Texas to like scout out kids. And I was one of the 2 kids she picked to come out to LA. And my dad was in Iraq at the time. And my mom was alone in Texas with my sister and I and our like 3 dogs. And she was
you guys always have rescue animals too.
Always rescue animals. Lots of full out aspects. And at first my mom said no because she was like, I'm not doing this. And so I created like on a poster board, like a physical PowerPoint of why I needed to go to Los Angeles to act, or Hollywood as I called it. And after like months of begging her, she finally agreed to take us out to a summer camp. And then we stuck with it.
Do you still have that poster board?
I think it's actually in one of the memory boxes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You have to get pictures
of
that.
I'll dig through the memory boxes for this episode to post some BTS stuff.
She's
yes.
gonna dig through the
I'll
memory
dig through
boxes.
Them, yes. There's some good stuff.
That is crazy. So you were 7 and you were like, I'm putting together this poster board thing.
I was like, I need to do this. We came out for the camp. Then the manager convinced us to come out for like 6 weeks to give it a try. I booked my 3rd audition for a commercial. And
do you remember what it was?
Yes. It was for CVS pharmacies. And it was directed by Bennett Miller.
Oh, wow.
Directed The Foxcatcher and like got nominated for an Oscar. And he was directing CVS commercials. Very weird. He gave me this.
That
like,
happens all the time though, because that's how people make money.
Yeah. It was so shocking to us like that this was the first guy, and he gave me like this huge like fashion kit gift because he like heard it was my first job and like wanted to make it exciting, and I loved it.
What do you mean a fashion kit?
It was like this fashion toy, but like with like how to like make doll dresses. It was like a doll fashion
cute
kit.
That's
it was
so
huge
nice.
Though, and I remember carrying it around the Sony lot back to the car, and I was like, this is so fun.
That's so sweet.
Isn't that so sweet?
Yeah.
And he got it for me, which was sweet, and his assistant got it for me, but he gave it to me and it was very nice.
That's so sweet.
And then my second commercial was for Rayovac batteries, but shot at Disneyland. And I got to run around Disneyland for a day.
Gosh.
So I had a really nice intro to acting.
You were like, I get to go to Disneyland and do this, so I'm staying here. So, and then since your dad was deployed, your mom could live anywhere, kind of?
Yeah, so then after the end of those 6 weeks, my dad called me from Iraq, and he was like, he's like, we'll give you 6 months while I'll move you out on my 2-week R&R from deployment to Los Angeles. Your mom hates Texas, so we can get you out of there. And he's like, you have 6 months to do this though, but you have to promise you'll commit to the whole 6 months. Like, you can't quit. And I remember I was like kind of scared because I was like, that's a long time at 7 years old to commit to. I was like, 6 months is a large portion of my life. But I was like, no, I'll do it. And then, he spent his 2 weeks Christmas break moving us to an apartment we moved to Reseda, to this like house with this other acting family.
Which is how far from LA?
Like 30 minutes without traffic.
Okay.
But like, it's like, I don't know. Maybe like an hour though with traffic. So
and you lived
pretty
with
far.
Another acting family?
Yes, we lived with another acting family in this very dingy beat up house. We moved all of our dogs there, and my sister, my mom, and I, we shared one double bed, my mom, my sister, and I, and we made it work. And I had really I could play so much younger when I was 8
tiny.
at this point.
That's why you could share a double bed with
Yes. And I could play my first TV role was I was playing 4 and I was 8, which was a pretty, but I could talk, I could read. That was the big thing. I could read and memorize things. And it was on Victorious. And one of my first photos in this industry,
that's a Nickelodeon show,
a
right?
Dan Schneider show. And one of my first photos from LA was sitting on Dan Schneider's lap, which is crazy. I know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But that's all, how many episodes, did you do one episode?
I just did one episode, but I continued to work. I worked on all of his shows afterwards. I worked with Dan a lot. Yeah.
Was he crazy?
He just was so mean and verbally abusive to his crew. He was fine to the cast, but I just remember we were filming Game Shakers on Christmas Eve, and he fired somebody, or the day before Christmas Eve. He fired 2 people the day before Christmas Eve because they plugged in the wrong outlet and blew a circuit, and he fired them day before Christmas Eve. And we were like, what the hell?
And he would just scream at people?
Yeah, he would just scream at people and just very aggressive, love the kids though, in a way that in hindsight is now creepy, but at the time was fine, but in hindsight, But no, my first job was Victorious, my first theatrical job. And I got to be in the schoolroom with Ariana Grande before she was
oh, cool.
anybody. And it was so cute. And then at the end of it, we're still so new. So I had asked her, I came up to her and I was like, would you want to babysit me?
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
And she actually said yes and was like, I'd love to. I've never done it before, but I'd really love to. And gave us her number. And but then my mom waited too long to call her to babysit, and then she was huge by the time my mom finally called.
Oh my gosh. Also, your separation anxiety, your mom's like, I don't know if either of us can handle it.
Yeah, my mom was like, I don't think Ariana Grande can babysit my daughter.
Well, that is so cute. Yeah. Penelope once, what did she tell me the other day? So I opened for Howie Mandel, and Penelope really likes America's Got Talent.
Yes.
She's obsessed with America's Got Talent. And so it's the only thing she's ever thought was cool was seeing, I took a picture with Howie Mandel because I have a joke about it, about America's Got Talent and Penelope, something she said to me. And I told him, and then I was like, he's like, we have to take a picture for your daughter. And then the other day she was like, Mom, who's that guy that you work with again from America's Got Talent? And I was like, Howie Mandel. And she's like, yeah, I want him to babysit me. And I was like, you want Howie Mandel to babysit you? And she's like, yes. And I was like, okay, next time I'm with him, I'll let him know. And I was like, he does have grandkids that he seems like a really good grandfather. He seems like a fun grandfather who cares about his grandkids. So you could maybe just jump in the bunch.
Yeah, just blend on in.
Maybe jump in with them and pretend like
it's so funny. I remember that anytime we'd meet somebody that we thought was that was just really cool. I'm sure I asked my mom at some point after being in your class, I'm like, can Brittany babysit me? I'm sure it's just I remember anytime I'd meet someone older than 14 that I was like, oh, they're nice to me. Can they babysit me? That was the default.
So
it was just
cute.
I want to hang out with them. Can they babysit me? And it was Ariana Grande, and then Liz Gillies was also so sweet, but they were in the schoolroom with me. And then like on day 2, they brought me like coloring books. They definitely thought I was younger than I was, but they like had me sit on their lap and color with them. And like they wanted photos with me. And we were doing like the little photo booth thing on the new like MacBook because it was new at the time. And like,
oh my gosh,
it was really cute.
So
and I have really cute photos with both of them.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, that was
and
like
they thought you were like
great
4.
Yeah, definitely thought I was 4 and like
So
couldn't
we're both
read,
doing
right?
the same thing.
Yeah.
We were both, I remember that was one thing we bonded over. Like as you started to get older, is you were playing so young for your age.
And I was
like,
upset
just
about
enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's gonna pass, but like enjoy it now.
Yeah, no, and you were so good for me with that, like being like playing younger, looking younger, and then like I guess my mom would always be like, yeah, but you can be like Brittany, because I had a really hard time with how young I looked, just because I think that like I did get bullied for it, which was really weird. I only went to school for 2 years, and it was like the worst 2 years of my life.
No.
But it was just, yeah, I was definitely a full out introvert. That's what I had mentioned maybe talking about today, but like in everything I did was like, yeah, I just loved doing my own thing. But yeah.
And like you like reading books.
I love reading
Molly will like
books.
go on vacation alone and read a bunch of
Yes.
books. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, you mean you're going by yourself and your parents don't care that you're going by yourself and you're so young? You're going to like Spain by yourself or wherever. And you're like, no, they know that this is what I do. And I just like go there and read books. And I'm like, okay.
No, I started solo traveling when I was 17, actually, which was younger than that. I took my first solo trip when I was 16 to Chicago with a friend. We were both 16 and thought we could go. We found a hotel that would let 16-year-olds check in, which is such a red flag. And we went to Chicago, but like I wasn't a drinker or partier. It was just to like see the world. And then I went to New York by myself when I was 17. And then very quickly when I turned 18, I was like, I'm traveling everywhere. And then COVID happened and I couldn't. But then, yeah, I took off to Spain for 6 weeks. Then I went to Germany for another 6 weeks and all by myself. And I just will read books and journal.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I don't know. I haven't done it as much in the last couple of years. I think that I like realized, like,
you started drinking.
Yeah, I started drinking. And I was like, partying's fun, guys.
You're like, I'm gonna go out actually and not read books.
I think I want friends. No, I think I'd also got to a point where I kind of like Josh Sadowski, who was one of our first guests, who was my roommate. I think we referenced that a lot, but he got me out of my shell a lot because when we first lived together, we were like enemies, and then we became best friends and we would do everything together. And he really got me out of my shell and made me realize like, oh, I actually kind of like people, and like my introvertness is a little performative and I need to like not be so obsessive about it.
About being an introvert.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny. I had no idea you guys. So I've always heard of Josh as your like roommate best friend.
Yeah.
And I had no idea you guys were enemies at the beginning. And when you told me that, it shocked me. I was like, oh, you were enemies? And you're like, yeah, he was so messy or this or that.
No, he was just like, yeah, he was messy. He was loud. He like, the first night of us living together, he went out, got drunk, stayed at a friend's house. So then the second night he came back and he was like, I talked in tongues last night and I like think I'm possessed. And like, and this was night 2 of living together. I didn't know him. We like barely knew each other when we moved in together. And I was like, yeah, this is above my pay grade. Like, you got to call one of your friends to come over. So I called his friend and I was like, hey, I don't know you, but can you come over and deal with him? Like, I'm not dealing with this. And I locked my door and went to bed. And I like was just so like put off by like how, I think I was so envious of how like sociable he was and how personable he was. And I had so much social anxiety. And then he really just like helped me come out of my shell so much.
He like forced you to.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And then like halfway through, my best friend Delaney, she was like, you're kind of a bitch to him. Like, you kind of need to be nicer. And I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. And then I was nice to him. And then we ended up being like best friends ourselves. So it's great.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. I feel like we can can you talk about when Josh came out? No.
Oh, no, I can talk about this.
Okay,
Yeah, no.
He'll
be
like
fine with it.
enemy roommates at this point, right?
It was peak enemy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I haven't talked about this on here yet. Yeah, I told you this. So this was like, we'd been living together for 4 months and we were like peak enemies. I was about to break the lease and move out because I was so annoyed at him about how messy he was and his cat shedded everywhere. And I was just like, I was so uptight to an obnoxious degree. And
you're also like 18.
Yeah. I was
19.
I was 20 at this point. Yeah, I just turned 20. And he was like 22.
It's hilarious to be like a 20-year-old uptight.
I went to bed religiously at 9:30 every night, got up super early, would work out. Like I was just so, I'd have my morning pages and I was just so obsessed with podcasts, I think. Like I got so obsessed with like these people I looked up to and their routines that I had to emulate them. But I was the most uptight 20-year-old you'll ever meet.
So your parents are like, please go on a trip.
No, my parents
Please
are like,
leave and do something.
no, my parents were like, when are you gonna like date somebody? When are you gonna like go get drunk? Like go have some fun. We'll send you to Costa Rica to be with your cousins. Like go do something. But so I was coming home from a first date. And I like was coming home pretty late. Like it went really well. So I was out till like maybe like 12:30ish, which was really late for me. And so I was on like a high from this date and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun, da da da. And I walk, our living room was upstairs and our bedrooms were downstairs. So I walk upstairs to the living room and I walk into Josh and his parents just like all like sobbing on the couch at 12:30 in the morning. And I was like, I'm gonna go to bed. And then Josh is like, no, I need you right now. And I was like, what? And he was like, and his parents were visiting and they were staying somewhere else at a hotel and I didn't know why they were there so late and I had no idea what was going on and I'm all dressed up from this date. And he like pulls me onto the couch and I sit next to him and he's like gripping onto my hand for dear life.
Your enemy.
My like enemy roommate who I was so like distrusting of and I was so stressed out by. And then he like comes out to his parents, his very like, well, like from his episode as we heard, like his prepper community parents. And yeah, he comes out to his parents and I'm sitting there and then like the prayers start and the yelling and like it's a whole thing. But then like it ends up going and then I was like, and they're like, Josh is like, Molly, like, do you have anything to say? Like anything to support? And I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to say right now. And then we like, I forget how it turned, but
you're
somehow
like, I'm breaking the lease, not because you're gay, but because you're messy.
Yes.
Like,
because
let's
you're
talk
gay,
about
I promise.
that.
Yes. And so then we end up like, it all becomes like really like supportive tears. His mom is like, I'm going to try to work on it. And like, it ends up going like way better than I expected. It started really bad and then it started flipping around. And then I have photos from this night because at the end of the night, his mom, who I adore, but she was like, we need photos to remember this big moment.
Oh my gosh.
And so we take photos in the kitchen and there's photos of me and his mom, Rosa, in our kitchen, in our tiny kitchen at like, at this point, 2 a.m, just like standing there. And she was like, I'm going to print this out and frame this. I was like,
now.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And yeah, so it was really crazy. But then we became best friends. But yeah.
You had to after that. And
we
he
were
loosened
trauma
you up.
bonded. Yeah.
He loosened you up.
Yeah, he loosened me up.
I love that. I love that for both of you.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. I love that story.
That's so funny to me because I do feel like you, in the past few years, you go out more and you like do things.
Yeah.
More. Yeah.
I think you've seen me
I've
loosen
seen you,
up a little
go
bit
into your life a bit,
Thanks.
you know, be like your age kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. I feel like you also always haven't been your age. Like you didn't play your age. You acted older, but you looked younger. So I think maybe because you looked so young, you acted older to be like, I'm not that young.
100%. Where I think that I like, yeah, that's a really good point. And I think also too with like the whole child actor thing is like you're called like precocious and mature and wise beyond your years and all these things. And so I think I was honestly just really confused about my age. And I think, to be honest, I started acting more my age in the last few years because I was like, oh, I'm not this like super young, impressive person anymore. I'm like less people are scrutinizing me and watching me. And I think also too like, yeah, I just like was able to be like, oh, like no one's expecting, like I can kind of do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Like I don't have this like like after the whole like, where are you going to go to college? What's your plan? Like I don't know. After all that pressure died down, I think I like loosened up a little bit.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like but okay. So also I remember this when you were, I don't know how old you were, but you tested for a Disney show or
Yes.
something, and like it was supposed to, you thought you were going to get it, right?
Yeah. So I was always back and forth between Disney and Nick. And then I was like the guest star recurring on like every show, but then I never had like booked a lead. But I was always testing for one. And I was testing for Stuck in the Middle, and I had like the best test. And my agent was like, yeah, like you have it in the bag. Like Disney's obsessed with you. This is great. And it was going to be a like mixed race family. So like half Hispanic, half white. I'm half Hispanic, half white. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. And then my agent called me like maybe like 5 days later, and they were like, oh, they like had to go, they decided to go 100% Hispanic, which is great for representation. But I was devastated. So they were like that. They're like, and also they're like, so they have to do, well, wait. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So then my agent called me, and they were like, so a couple of things. One, they're going to change it to be, they want to be fully Hispanic for representation, which is great. But also the girl that booked it has more followers than you. And I was like,
this is when like Instagram was just becoming like a thing when they like really cared about the following and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, more followers than me? And she was like, yeah, like she has 50,000 followers and you have like 800 followers. So they want her following. So she got the show. The show was Stuck in the Middle. I'm always second choice Jenna Ortega constantly.
I feel like it's between you and Jenna Ortega all the time, right?
For everything. Still, like to this day, like I will, because they'll always have like when they go out, when they cast things, they'll always have their famous pick and then their not famous pick. And I'm always the not famous pick and she's the famous pick.
Oh my gosh.
It just happened for Wednesday, which was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Gut punching. But yeah.
And she's like apparently like difficult and not great to work with.
I have heard the same thing. Yes.
So, you know.
Yeah. You know what?
Molly's like a hard worker.
Thanks.
Does what she needs to do.
That's what I tell myself. I'm like, maybe if I had books Stuck in the Middle, I would be a diva nowadays. So I'm glad that I'm not.
Yeah. You never know where you never know what it's going to lead you to later. I think you'll look back and be like, oh, good thing I didn't get that.
Yeah. No. And I'm really glad that I didn't, because I've now had like a life and like I got to grow up and it's great. But yeah, the follower thing really got me, and I was like, I am going to amass a following if this is the last thing I do. I was like this. I'm so determined. I learned the ins and outs of social media at the time. I feel like now I've fallen off.
How old were you?
I was 14. Yeah, because I was 13 when I was testing for it, 14 when they made the announcement. It was right around the time of my birthday. And then, so I was 14. And I was posting daily. I was doing the live streams. I was like finessing like the follow for follow, shares for shares. Like I became a very obnoxious little Gen Z influencer.
You started doing Musical.ly.
Yes, I started doing Musical.ly. I got a lot of followers on Musical.ly.
That was like kind of like Vine, like making little music videos.
Musical.ly was TikTok. TikTok is just the new name for it. So it was TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I was huge on Musical.ly, and I got like my crown and I got verified.
It change, like, did you keep all your followers when it became TikTok?
Yes.
It just like changed over to TikTok?
It just changed over. Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, now people nowadays have like
that.
20 million followers. But,
was it like a Chinese thing?
Yes. Yeah. China bought it. So it shut down for a while and they brought it back as TikTok.
Oh, and then you got to keep all your account.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, which was really interesting. So, but my, so unhinged, but I had all my old videos on there. And then my little cousin like hacked my TikTok and deleted all my videos and changed the username to I hate Molly and Molly sucks. And I was like, what?
Why?
And they were like, and then my sister was in on it. I find out. So Hannah, I'm calling you out. And then she feels very bad about this now though. But they were like, oh, we thought it was like a funny prank. And I was like, no, my TikTok is worth money. Like that's not a funny prank. Like that's really serious. And it was really bad. So all my videos are gone now, which is so devastating because I had videos with like millions and millions of views. And they were like funny videos with my dogs, and like I would like train my dogs to do funny tricks, and it was really fun.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's such like a little sister thing
to
do.
Such a little sister and little cousin thing to do. But yeah, so I grew my Musical.ly out, and then I grew out my Instagram, and then I was on Disney's Andy Mac for the first 2 seasons as a recurring guest star, and I gained a lot of followers from that. And And then I was actually like competitive in the room where followers mattered. And now they're saying followers don't matter anymore, which is good. And I'm so glad about that.
Because I think they realize people with followers like don't need to be there
yeah.
on set. Like I think that's what happened with Jake Paul on Bizarrevark. They like
Yes.
they get these people with like huge followers who are making so much more money on their own, and then they don't take it seriously going to set.
Yeah.
And then they're like late, they're disrespectful, they don't care. They don't, not everybody, but I think it was like a trend for a while.
A large amount.
And then like certain influencer people like weren't coming out of their trailer. Like there were just like stories all the time of like, oh crap, well if you are taking somebody who's making millions of dollars on their own,
and then you're going to pay them
and like a Disney rate,
contract,
which is like the lowest rate of all. And then at least for actors, and then you expect them to like show up for work. They're like, well, I don't need the notoriety of this show or anything because I have it on my own.
No, exactly. Versus you get really hard workers like who really want to act and like they're going to show
and, like,
up
know how to do that style of a show.
Yes, you have trained forever. Yeah. So I continued with my acting training, of course, and that was always my main thing. And then I did, I grew my social media a lot, which was great. And then kind of like maybe late high school, I kind of realized I very much didn't want to be known as an influencer though. So I like fell off my own social media, but then I started consulting for other people's social media, which was great. And it was really cool.
Like me. I remember calling you and being like, okay, I have to figure this out. And you would give me like tips. And I was like, this is so funny. I was like, is it okay that I'm calling you and asking you this? And you're like, yeah. And I would always like text your mom too, I think at the beginning. I would text your mom and you. And be like, hey,
I remember that.
Like,
the group
is it okay if Molly like can talk to me about this thing? So yeah, but it was really helpful.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. And
it was just so funny. And I think I still would tape you for auditions sometimes. Like I'd still see you occasionally, but like that's kind of how I like got back to seeing you after, because I stopped doing my acting class.
Yes, and then I didn't see you for like many years.
Yeah, and then I was like, Molly did this and she figured it out, and I need to do it now too. So because it was when it mattered.
Yes.
And you helped me, and then it's so funny. I feel like you also like went like you're a major activist.
Yes,
I feel like you.
Like, that's what I kind of changed my social media platform to.
Yeah, kind of like you transitioned it from like influencer kind of to like activism. And you know, like everything. Like when I'm like, where should I donate? What should I be the thing? Or like, I call you. Like I feel like I've had some shows that are like, what do you want your cause to be? Or what do you want? And I get to pick, and then you tell me which. I'm like, I want to do something for this, and which one should I do? And you're like, okay, these three, and this one knows this, and this one knows that. And I'm like, how do you know all this stuff? But it's really
that was
impressive.
like, thank you. No, that was like the big change for me. I think is like it was around the time I did Andy Mac that I started. The other boy on the show who I played the girlfriend of, Josh Rush. He was a really big activist as well, and I think that like we both kind of started posting about. We were two of the first Disney kids or child actors to start posting about activism in a way that like other ones had come up to me and been like, thanks, like you inspired me to use my platform. And that like there was no bigger compliment to me than that.
What made you do that in the first place?
Well, so Andy Mac had the first gay character on a Disney show. And I got really involved with the LGBTQ Center when I was filming the show because I wanted to like walk the walk or walk the talk. Yeah, I think that's the right phrasing of that.
Yeah.
And so I got really involved with the LGBTQ Center to like prep for like interviews and stuff for the show. And then
But that was just your own idea.
That was just my own idea. Yeah. Me and then Josh Rush too. And like he was doing a lot of like political stuff and like anti-Trump stuff and whatnot. And so him and I kind of were like feeding each other off of that. And then I found my like passion with, I've been vegetarian since I was like 10 and like vegan for another 10 years, I think. And so I really found my passion with like climate change and animal activism. And so I think that that's kind of where it started for me was that. And I realized though that like you can't really be an influencer and an activist though, because brands aren't going to want to sponsor you if you're an activist. And I was like, you know what, that's fine. Like I'd prefer to like stand up for what I believe in and do this. And so I started posting a lot. I was working with PETA for a second. I was working with different climate organizations, with rainforest organizations, doing little like lots of volunteer stuff, And yeah, it was really great. Like, I think I really found my passion. And then I took a break for a second in high school just because it got like, as soon as I got into like the women's rights stuff, it got a little intense with like, I would get like serious like rape threats from like grown men on the internet when I was like 16.
Oh my gosh.
And it was really scary. And it was really scary. And people are just so messed up and crazy because I was advocating for women's rights to choose and abortion access. And I got really crazy threats about that. And so then I kind of took a step back just because it was a lot. Yeah, I was 16.
So when you decided to start posting about this when you were on a Disney show and like you were one of the first ones to do it, was anybody like, don't do this?
Yes. Yeah.
Like how did your parents feel first? Your parents, I feel like, are very like...
Yeah, my mom was super supportive. My dad was a little bit more nervous just because of like safety stuff. And then my reps at the time were not as supportive because they were like, you're like casting directors follow you, producers follow you, and like they're not gonna like to see this. And I was like, well, I was like, I don't care. Like, this is what I'm really passionate about, and I think this matters more, and I'm gonna do this. And then I think like the wave of actors being activists kind of came, and then I was more protected after that, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of affected maybe some of my like Disney and Nick bookings, to be honest, initially. But then I got very back into activism maybe in the last like 4 years on my social media, and I do a lot of like immigration stuff, and then I got very involved in like Gazan rights and stuff like that. But yeah.
And when you took a pause, it just was like too scary and overwhelming.
Yeah, it just got like really scary. I think I like also like was taking it very personally, like the threats and attacks from people.
Well, you're also so young. You're 16. Like it's hard for adults not to take it personally. I feel like adults take it personally, but to be 16 and have that is so hard to navigate.
Yeah, it was just really, it was tough because people just like, they know where to hit you. Like they know how to get it personal, like especially with like the vegan stuff, like people really like knew how to attack me. I think that like it recently became a lot for me again because I work with some other great activists on like Palestinian rights, but I am Jewish and I have family in Israel, and I have been so attacked for my Jewishness and like being a self-hating Jew and stuff like that. And it's been really hard. And I think that like that's been very emotional for me again, but it's been like, I haven't really talked about this. Like that's been really hard, but I have a lot of friends that's been really hard for as well. And so like we can kind of commiserate on that and like build each other up.
You're so young, but you've been through it like so many times on your social media.
Yeah, that it's like I can't take it as like personally anymore. And I'm like, I know like I think the biggest thing too is that like when you see actors and influencers posting about like causes, you don't think they're very educated on it, but like I promise when I'm posting about something, like I've done so much research. I've talked to family members. I've talked to people like there. Like I've really like done, I mean, I'm about to go to grad school for it. Primarily just so I can have an education behind my activism.
Yeah. And your degree, what is your degree again?
My degree is, I'm getting two. So it's a Master's of Public Policy and then a Master's of International Affairs with focus on human rights and like immigration and refugees. Yeah.
This is like so your vibe.
Yeah. Sorry. Like this podcast. I became made this so serious as we've like been branding this.
I think
now
it's
I feel
like
Marco.
who you are. You like show you like what you were saying. Like you need to like walk the talk. And it's like you really do research things so much so that you always have a list of like places where people can look up things and stuff. You know, you like keep that like public. But the fact that you're going to grad school and getting your master's in that is really cool.
Thank you.
Because you're not just like posting on a whim. You're like, I'm actually like, you're leaving to Germany. Yeah, I'm leaving to Germany to go to grad school. I think honestly, like, I think finding it, I think that the activism through social media has been like my most full out thing, honestly. And just like the commitment to that, because it's like I don't want to go into politics. I don't want to like do anything crazy with my degree besides just like having an education behind my activism, because I love film and I love like doing this and producing and stuff like that. And so I want to stay with this, but also be able to like work with different nonprofits and NGOs in a much more like contributing, educated way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I'm so excited
Thanks.
to see what you end up doing.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's so fun. I feel like I've gotten to watch you grow up.
Aw.
And you're still growing up, but everybody's still growing up. But I feel like it's cool. I'm excited to see what you do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
so
gonna
cool
be crazy.
because I feel like you actually like when you're like, you know, believe in something, you've been like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm going to Minnesota tomorrow. I just cannot be here. And I'm like, okay, here, take. She's
No, and
like,
I really
gotta
do
get
want to
on
say
a
that,
plane,
like,
and she'll like leave.
but of everyone I work with, because I do a couple of like different like freelance producing things, and like you really are the most supportive. Like I will be like, I can't show up for the podcast tomorrow, and you're like, nope, I know you're doing something important. Like go do it. Here's my coat. Like go
I'm
do
not
it.
gonna be like,
No, and you're so quick to be like, what can I share on my platform? Like when I like posted like an abortion access thing, you were like, can I reshare this? Like how can I publicize this? And I was like, thank you. Like you're so quick to do that as well. And I think that like, yeah, it's still hard to get people to want to use their platforms as well, or like help spread the word. So yeah.
I do think that people say like really negative, insane things and stuff, and like I think that Marco gets more scared for me than like I do. I think I'm like, I'm invincible, whatever, you know. And then like I did have somebody like show up at a show, like this creepy person who kept like emailing me, and then like showed up at a show, and like the door guys like didn't let him in, and like we took pictures of him, and like now all the clubs have like this photo of this guy and his name and stuff. But like it's like it is a little, you're kind of just like, yeah, whatever, come at me, and then you're like, wait a sec, but like don't actually come. Like my friend had a stalker who was stalking all of us at one point, and like showed up from Australia to Los Angeles. Like people are like insane. Also, maybe we should just cut it out because he's probably listening to this, because he would even email Marco. It got like my friends. Jeez. Yeah, it's like a lot. So I feel like being 16 is crazy. I feel like my friend Alex Fox, who's done the podcast, she had this Disney show, or has this Disney show, Electric Bloom. And I noticed that the girls are like 14, 15, 16 maybe, but it seems like their social media is more because of the show, and maybe like their parents do it with them, or so, like it's not as like you have to have this and you have to have a following. Like I think a lot of them didn't have a following, and like they're like, okay, maybe post a little bit about, but it's not something that they're like
that makes me
them
so happy to hear, because I think that like I did acting because I loved it so much, and I think that with the whole like influencer influx, just so many people got in it because of the fame. Like I think it just brought so many people who were fame hungry to it instead, and it just really like brought up the toxicity of the industry and like the business and child actors. And I have so many crazy child actor stories.
I feel like it's interesting to like have grown up, because I started doing, like I moved out here when I was playing a kid, but I was an adult. But you like you were playing really young, but you were still a kid. So to like go through all of this when you're like a kid still is, you know, hard to navigate.
Well, my first kiss was on Disney Channel, which is crazy.
Way.
Yes.
What show was your first kiss?
It was on Andy Mac. It was it's awful because I shouldn't say it's awful. It's a good storyline, but it was like my first kiss was I kiss him, and then he comes out as gay right after I kiss him on the show. And that was my first kiss, and they had us do
what? Like immediately after the kiss?
The next scene is him going to his best friend being like, I don't think I like girls.
Oh my gosh, that's your first kiss ever in life?
Yes, and so, this whole thing was insane.
Created the first Disney gay actor on TV?
Yes, I was the catalyst. No, Andy Mac was crazy. I had auditioned for it so many times. I was also like really close to Andy, like being the lead of the show. And I got to know the creator super well, and like she was fighting for me to be the lead of it. And then I auditioned for the best friend, and then I auditioned for the mean girl, and like finally I got settled in this role. And I saw it. We got the script.
What was your role?
It was the girlfriend of the gay kid. So it was Iris. That was my character's name, Iris. She did have a name. And so we were just like boyfriend, girlfriend for the first season. And then it was second season premiere that we got the script, and it was a kiss. And because it was the first time Disney had done a kiss in a really long time, like on screen, like they had always cheated all their kisses. And so this was their first real kiss in like 6 years. And so Disney execs flew out for it. We filmed in Utah. So we flew out to Utah. It was freezing cold in December. And it was my first kiss. I think Josh had another first kiss before this. He can comment if I'm wrong about this. I can't remember. And it was like, and then we had his dad and my mom were at the monitor with their phones, like recording our first kiss. Cause they're like, when you get to see your kid's first kiss. And we had like, there was more
How old
people.
Were you?
14.
Okay.
Yeah. No, 15.
Were you like, I should practice this before?
Yes, I was like, I want a real first kiss. I was freaking out, but I was so like sheltered that I was homeschooled and I didn't know where to do it. And I was so stressed. And Josh and I were like trying to make all these jokes about it to like make it less awkward. And and it was the biggest day on set. We had, I'm not even kidding, probably like, usually, let's say there's like 50 people on set. There was like 80 people on set this day. They were all surrounding the monitors. Like there was like vans. Like there was like
This is crazy. It was also like, why weren't they like, oh, like, is this your first kiss? We'll make it like, I feel like normally they're like, nobody else can be on set.
No, it would be like a close set.
This is a spectacle.
This is a spectacle to watch. And so then we're up there. They have to put me on an Apple box because I'm so much shorter than him. So I'm on this Apple box. And then they're like, okay, and action. And then it just goes dead silent. And then I have to lean in for the kiss. And so then I like say my last line. And then I have to go to turn around. And then I turn back. And I like kiss him. And then I lean back. And I'm like, bye, Cyrus. And then I walk inside my house. And we did the scene, like we did the kiss like 13 times. I remember the exact number. And then at the end of the last take, I was standing by the monitors, like getting unwired from my mic. And then Josh came up to me and he asked me out. He's like, I don't know, like if we're gonna like play boyfriend, girlfriend, like maybe we should like try it in real life. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I got asked out for the first time right after having my first kiss on a Disney Channel show. And then Josh and I like
felt like, okay, I did a good job.
Yes. Yeah, no, I was like, okay. I guess I'm a good kisser. So it was a little confidence boost. And then Josh and I, we were 15, so we dated for like 2 months after. But I actually don't think the Andy Mack people know that Josh and I ever dated in real life.
That's funny.
Yeah, so we dated, and then...
But the next scene, he comes out as gay?
Yes, and then the next scene... No, then there's... It's a two-parter episode. Sorry. So then we have that kiss. And then some more stuff happens in the episode with the other characters. And then there's another scene at my house and I'm like babysitting my little brother and we're on the couch and we kiss again. And this take, I remember this, we did 32 takes of this scene.
I can't believe you remember exactly how many times you kissed.
I'm like, I definitely slightly on the spectrum with numbers. Like I remember numbers very well. And I was so young and I just remember this. But then Josh actually wrote on the back of a card for me exactly how many times we kissed as well. So I like have it. Like,
oh my gosh.
I mean, just Disney kids doing their awkward thing.
So weird.
I haven't thought about this in so long. And so then we did 32 takes of it, which was so excessive.
I feel like my first kiss, we both had braces. It was bad.
Oh no, I got a full face of makeup at least. And I looked really cute during my first kiss.
I feel like my friends watched out the window. I was in a backyard and I found out they watched out the window. And I thought that was mortifying, but you had like 80 people who like flew in, like parents and execs.
Yes. And then, intense. So that was that. And then the best part was the very next week I was back in LA and I was testing for a Disney mermaid movie that never came out, but I was testing for this mermaid movie. And I'm on the 21st floor, which is where they do the auditions for Disney, the big ones. And I was on the 21st floor and the board of panels, I walk in and they're like, ooh, like these 12 adults. And I was like,
people are what? So
they're like,
appropriate
so
about this
they're like, you had your first kiss. And they're like, we heard it was, they said, so you had your kiss on Andy Mack. They're like, we heard it was your first one. And I was like mortified. And I'm like,
so
this is like haunting me now. I'm like, this is insane. So anyway, but anyone can go YouTube and watch my first kiss.
That's so crazy. I know. I feel like that adults being like that about, it's like weird. I feel like I would hope that now people wouldn't be like that, but
well, I would hope it'd be like more of a close set and like more like
it's just like weird. It's just weird. I feel like Penelope will have a boyfriend or something. She has a lot of boyfriends. She's like makes heart cards that have 2 boys' names in each bubble. Like I love so and so and I love so and so because she's
so
like
iconic.
She's not gonna just like settle for one. She has plans of like who she's gonna marry and who's gonna be her boyfriend that lives across the street.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God. And then she's like, we need to get that person together with that person and see if they like each other. Cause like, it's like intense. But Marco will be like, oh, so I'm like, you got to stop like with that because she's never going to tell us anything ever again. If you're like, ooh, la la, like you just have to be like, oh, cool, that's normal and like fine.
Yes.
And whatever. So that she'll tell us stuff. Cause I'm like, I want her to tell me stuff. I don't want her to be like, I'm not telling my parents because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, at the monitor filming it.
K-S-S-I-N-G.
I can't believe. What I actually want to see is the video that your mom has filming the monitor. That's what I actually want to see.
I have it. I can.
Okay, that's what I want to see.
She's favorited
Lynette,
in
hook
her.
it up.
Yes.
Hook it up. That's what we want to see. I want to hear everybody's reaction behind the monitor.
Yeah. No, it was just
It's crazy.
It was crazy. It's been like, it's so weird because I just feel like I'm so doing my own thing now and so out of the crazy like acting loop. I just forget like what a Disney Nick kid I was for so many years, and like thinking back to all these stories from just like the crazy social media stuff to the Disney stuff to the testing to like.
Also, all the Disney kids lived at Oakwood.
Yeah.
And I know that Molly like really wanted to live
spot,
at Oakwood. And her mom wouldn't. It's like the place where it's an apartment complex where all the Disney actor kids lived.
Yes.
And my sister is a few years older than you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's like 3 years older than you, 2 or 3 years older than you.
Yeah.
And so my family would sometimes live at Oakwood. My mom started flying out here with my little sister when I already lived here and was acting. And that was already like a whole thing for me because I was like, I want people to think I'm an adult and here on my own.
Yeah.
And now my mom's here with my little sister living at Oakwood. And people think that like my mom came out here with both of her kids and that my mom's doing this for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been here. I've like made my own life for myself. I have a career. And so it was like really hard for me that they were coming out, but they were living at Oakwood. And I guess you told me recently that Bailey invited you to spend the night there.
Yes.
My sister invited you to
spend the night. And for whatever reason, my mom was just like not like, I wasn't like doing well enough in my school or something to do a like sleepover or whatever. Like I couldn't go for whatever reason. I like lost it because I was like, first you won't let me live there. Now you won't even let me have a sleepover at Oakwood. I was such a brat. And I wasn't really a bratty kid, but when it came to the two things. When it came to not getting to live at the Oakwood and not getting to have Facebook, I was such a brat because I wanted both of those things so badly, more than anything.
That is so funny. And Oakwood, like, there's documentaries about Oakwood. Your friend wrote a musical about Oakwood, right?
Writing one now.
Writing one now. It was like this crazy actor kid community. Like
for decades.
So many people came out of there that were like Disney Channel kids, but it was insanely competitive. Also, like with the parents, I remember the parents were like, oh, what audition is your kid going in on? And it was like really sleuthy and kind of like backstabbing. And there was a lot of like chaos that went on there.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of the hot spot to find out about. Like you knew who got the job before the person probably even knew they got the job. If you lived at Oakwood, it was kind of that place. So if you wanted to be like in the know,
it was like
you lived at Oakwood.
It was like if Perez Hilton was or Dumois was a apartment complex.
It's like as if Dumois was an apartment complex. That's what Oakwood was back in the day.
Yeah.
It's not like that. They don't have it anymore.
No, it's now the Ava.
Yeah, but they would have these like breakfasts on Sunday mornings and they'd have like donuts and
they
like
had like a hair
whole,
salon
like,
and stuff, right? They had all these businesses.
Yeah, and like people would come in and like teach classes for the kids who lived there and like everybody would like go to these things and it was like a little creepy. Like even when I lived, like I didn't live there, my mom lived there. I'd lived there for 2 months when I was getting out of an apartment. My Sterling Knight's mom let me live at her place for 2 months. She wasn't in town because I was living in a really bad place and had to leave immediately and because they had mice. And I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
And she let me live there for 2 months. But so I lived there, but I was like not part of the thing. I was kind of just living there. But I do remember being like,
I'm so jealous.
This place has like I don't know. I was already working on some Disney shows, I think, at that point or something. But it felt very like, you don't know who to trust here. Don't talk to anybody.
It was like a content house for actors.
Yes.
And now they have content houses for influencers. The Oakwood was like a content house, but for actors.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Before that was like a thing.
Yes.
It was like, I don't even know if I want to go to the pool. There was like one pool that was like not where people would go and I would go to that one. I would like try and just stay out of the whole thing because I was also too old to be part of that. But I knew it was happening there.
Yeah, and then, there's just no place like it.
Molly still wants to live there. If they were like, okay, you can either go to Germany and get your master's and live in Germany, or you can live at the Oakwood, what it used to be, what would you choose?
God, what it used to be, and I got to be back there. I like almost want to say the Oakwood because I'm convinced my career would have been better if I lived there. I don't know why. I was like convinced that that's how I would make it. Like that's what I was like.
You would have been Jenna Ortega. And not
like
Mom, I would have been at Oakwood.
Yeah, I would have been Jenna Ortega had I lived at the Oakwood. Yeah,
but then you'd probably be pretty mean.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, anyways, I think it all worked out. For the best.
Yeah.
Even
I think it worked out.
Still didn't get what you wanted. Living
no
at the
Oakwood.
Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe you'll be in the musical about the Oakwood.
There we go. I'll talk to Jaheim and Isabella and I'll ask them. I'll pitch myself.
I think you'd be great. I think you need this.
Yes.
To fulfill your life stream.
Yeah, it's going to be full circle. I'll be really happy. I'll drop out of grad school to be in the musical.
You should play Jenna Ortega in the musical of Oakwood.
There we go. Okay. There we go. No, my favorite way to pitch myself, it's so self-deprecating and I need to stop doing this. But my favorite, I'm the cheaper Jenna Ortega. Like in meetings now with agents and stuff. I'm like, just pitch me as the cheaper Jenna Ortega. Like I just so cost less, but I can do what she does.
I feel like there was a while where, you know, the girl in Modern Family, the daughter, not Sarah Halstead, the middle daughter. Can't remember her name.
Ariel Winter?
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a moment where my sister Bailey does a ton of voiceovers. Yes. She was doing all of Ariel Winter's like voiceover stuff that she couldn't do. So because she could voice match her really well.
Okay. Yes.
And like if they made like a video game or they made a thing or they made like a promo or something, Bailey was doing like all of her voiceover stuff.
So infuriating. But also, like, it's a gig and keeping you employed, but that's frustrating.
Yeah, there's stuff like that. You know, I voice matched I did the Christopher Robin movie. I played the voice of Roo, the little kangaroo.
Oh, yeah.
There was a moment where I was, like, voice matching all these, like, I was getting a lot of little British boy voiceover jobs.
Okay.
Like, I voice matched him, and I basically did all the lines in the movie. And I did the daughter of Ewan McGregor, like all her ADR lines as well.
Okay.
But like I'm not credited on the movie.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna take, I know we're like almost at time, by the way. I'm stepping into producer role really quick. But I'm gonna take the podcast opportunity to clear this up really quick. Speaking of ADR and not being credited, so I did so much ADR and I did the ADR for Finding Dory. And they ended up bringing me in, it was kind of dirty of them, but I ended up re-recording every single line for Baby Dory. I did all 8 of her lines, and Baby Dory became like this big viral sensation on the internet, and that's my voice. I know my voice. That is my voice. But it had went to like one of the producer's daughters or something, the original role, and so I'm not credited as Baby Dory, but that is my voice. I am Baby Dory, but I never got credited for it, which just sucked so bad.
That's, you know that. Yeah, you know Despicable Me, that famous line where the girl's like, "It's so fluffy, I love it."
Yes.
Bailey did that line. She ADR'd that line.
Oh, well, now we need Bailey on the podcast immediately because her and I need to talk about this.
People were saying that line. It was like a line that was like, I'm sure like Baby Dory being said around. I mean, nobody was saying like the lines of Rue and Christopher Robin, the Christopher Robin movie.
But it's so upsetting not getting credited for work you did.
I just was like, wait. I've even tried to like, I mean, this was years ago. I tried to submit myself to be like, I did, you know, and they'll just like deny it.
Yes, I submitted too on IMDb, and I was
just
like, no,
I at least wanted to show up.
I want the credit of this role. Well, then Josh did. Sadowski did a TikTok of like, oh, my roommate's Baby Dory, this is why she's so forgetful. Like, he just made this comedy TikTok of it. Anyway, it blew up, but then the comments at first were like, no way, that's Baby Dory. And then the comments flipped and was like, no, she's a liar. She wasn't Baby Dory. She's a dirty liar. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I mean, they got so mean, these comments. So that's what I want to clear up. I am Baby Dory. That's the story.
Yeah, she's Baby Dory. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching this episode with Baby Dory, Molly Jackson.
Thank you,
Brittany. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah,
this was so
fun. Thanks.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.